Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome as we head to Tsukuba in Japan for what's going to be a tight and fraught race across this 1.3 mile long track, just 2,000 meters, 2 kilometers in length. We're going to cram on here over 45 drivers. It's going to be epic, it's going to be wild, and that is the SRF Weekend Warriors for you here on Apex Racing TV. You weren't with us for the Formula 4s earlier on, then where were you? It was a dramatic finish, 2 tenths separating our top two. If it hadn't been for a crash between two of the drivers going to feature here in the SRS, Tim Heshuson and Christian Kabanka, then, well, it could have been even closer in the fight for victory. But I'm Tim Cox. Charles Bashard's going to join us shortly, and Josh Wilkie is going to work his magic any second now to throw up some championship points as to where we're currently at. So we head into this bit of topsy-turvy season, round 7 technically, but realistically round 5 proper due to the Christmas break. And Jason Green, he's top of the pile in Spec 1 of what's been just so crazy in Spec 1. It's just toed and froed left, right and centre. Nobody's really sort of claimed it for their own, like we've seen before. 4 different winners from the opening 4 rounds of the season, and 4 different podiums to boost. It's going to be different tonight. Claudio Gardini has just been Mr. Consistency. I ran things off with a 3rd place at Willow Springs last week, but before that hadn't featured on the podium, but had been there or thereabouts to be in 2nd. Christian Kabanka, he's into 3rd, then it's Favini, Pinero, West, Castro, Dorelli, Perry and McCain to round out your top 10 there. Let's click across into Spec 2 now, where, again, another topsy-turvy season. There's Paul Jackson, the Brit, on the exact 200, no less. And Jackson hasn't even come on the podium in his class all season, but yet leads the championship. Caleb Pocock, he's in 2nd. Philip Berry, good morning to him as always, in 3rd. Trenton Kramer, who's flying high in the Formula 4s and sits 4th, and only some 28 points off the lead here in Spec 2. It's incredibly close though, because he's tied for 4th place with Alfa Lorio, the Portuguese driver. Then we've got Healy, who's just getting cut off drift now. Those top 5 really breaking away. Montgomery, Payne, Pallarone, and Michelle Vaglini to round the top 10 there. Cross into Masters now. Now this is a completely different flavour in the form of Jorg Marni winning every single round so far. he's first, and the second place driver, Chris Murakami, 2 seconds and 2 third places. Unrivaled to those two, and that's why they're well clear of each other. But Rocky in third place, Antonio Reyes, who's only had 1 podium, second place 2 weeks ago at Oran Park. Bradshaw, he's in 4th, another driver yet to make the podium. Kurt Nunes 5th, Tom Gradwell, Brad Cathcart, who made 3rd the last time out at Willow Springs. Stevie Ray is 8th, then Pritchett and Walbolt to round out your top 10 there. As always, Charles Michel alongside me. This could be dramatic. I feel for, well, producer Josh trying to... in some ways it's quite easy because all the cars are on top of each other, so surely it can't be hard to miss the action, but there's going to be a lot of it.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be several replays we'll have to look at today. Yeah, this is obviously just a very small circuit, very, very tight. You know, let's throw some chicanes in there too just for the fun of it. You know, and yeah, you know, you said the word you said topsy-turvy earlier. I was like, I'm trying to think back prior to this season. When's the last time I saw Marco Pinero in P5 in the championship points? It seems like he's just kind of been dominant for forever. And it's so yeah, it's been a topsy-turvy season, and so I think consistency is the word of the season so far. You get out there and consistently compete and consistently get decent results, and you're going to be up near the top of the board.
Slightly different layout today, as you can see on board with Yogmani right now. We've got extra kink, haven't we, coming out of turn 3?
Yeah,
we'll slow things up, maybe just coming into the hairpin here. Will it, or will it give extra chances for mistakes, which might mean more overtakes? I'm not sure.
I think both probably is the right answer to that. Yeah, it'll slow things up. Obviously, you don't have that long run down the straightaway, but yeah, it also, you know, it also invites opportunities for errors, whether that be solo errors or you know, errors trying to make a late move, a late lunge into the corner, into the extra corner that we got added there. And so it's, you know, it's one of those things that we'll have to watch out for during the race, because I don't think I've ever ran this particular layout on the circuit. And I don't run Tsukuba a lot, but I think this is the first time I've seen what they call the moto circuit.
It's, yeah, it's one of those weird circuits, isn't it, in the sense of, you know, it's going to be either pure death or you're going to get a result. There's no middle ground with this circuit whatsoever.
Yeah.
It also crowns as well our last time that will be anywhere but the United States of America, because last 5 rounds we've got Belle Isle, Road America, New Hampshire Roval. I am so hyped for that one because I've never been there. I have no idea what it's going to be like, and it's just going to be fascinating to see the Laguna Seca and Sonoma Cup to round out the season.
Yeah, that, I mean, you're talking about, obviously there's some pretty diverse group of tracks, right? You know, I would have thought when I looked at the schedule, I was like, okay, this particular race is probably going to be light as far as participation, but no, we've got over 45 cars out here on track, trying to set a quality pace. Next week at Belle Isle is just going to be, oh my God, it's going to be our doubleheader weekend of many crashes. I firmly believe, because Belle Isle is such a tough course to drive. Road America, you know, nice, wide open, lots of slipstreams. That's going to be fascinating, but just a number of cars that, you know, you may be wanting to be in 5th place coming out of the final corner to get the run up the hill for the finish line. And so, yeah, New Hampshire, obviously, I've never even seen it. Laguna Seca and the Sonoma, you know, not very well. Yeah. You know, Sonoma's not very widely used, and you know, a lot of NASCAR, you know, leagues will run that because it's a historic NASCAR road course. But for the most part, it doesn't get a lot of use anywhere else. So there may be another one of those that we may have 2 or 3 tracks that a lot of these drivers have never even driven before. So it'll be very interesting as well.
But you say that New Hampshire Roval, Charles, I'm sure I saw it on a video that an American guy did on one of the YouTube shorts about the least ever used iRacing circuits, and I believe that has only been raced, that was featured in it, and has only been raced once in the history of iRacing in officials.
Yeah, that's crazy, because I think normally when I go look at those, I don't even think it even comes up as an official track, just because it's used so little. So normally the ones that you see the least amount are like Barber or Sonoma, because Barber is just not, and that's my home track, and I love it. But I think it's starting to get a little more usage now, but it's not one of those that you can just throw on every schedule. You don't want to try and run, GTPs there or anything like that. It's not designed for that. It's a road course that has been converted from a motorcycle track to run open wheels primarily.
Another thing that doesn't work on it either, Charles, is overtaking.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's got to love it, eh? And you've taken that one for the team of loving Barber Motorsport Park.
I have to.
Your home track.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. I've seen so many things there. It's a fun place to go visit. You go out there in the Alabama summertime, and you find a nice grove of pine trees to sit under, and watch anything from IndyCar to Radicals to Formula 4. So yeah, it's a fun place. So what's not to like about it?
Lack of overtaking. There we go. Anyway, on to more poignant points. Qualifying is over and done with. Check a flag out. Wow, here we go. We've got 46 runners and riders. I'm praying with all my might that our series organizer Stevie Ray has set the pace car to form up. No, he hasn't. He hasn't had to give a full lap. He hasn't. Right, here we go. Let's hit the grid, Josh. Right, Dudu Castro on pole. Let's play the second place, joining on the front row. Top qualifier Masters is Marnie. He's next to Dantas on row 2. Row 3, Jason Green and Jesus Rodriguez. Andrea Favini and Michael Nelson up in the 4th row. Great for him. Row 5 and top 10 is Overstreet and Jason Perry. Bobby West and Flavio Andalo. Row 6, row 7, Antonio Ace, Chris Murakami. Row 8, Kurt Nunes and Claudio Gardini, who's second in Spec 1 Championship. Tom Gradwell and Anne Bradshaw, row 9. Top 20, row 10, Todd Martin and Chris Montgomery. Arnis Yusovic and Dan Wood are on row 11. Trenton Kramer and Phil Berry, row 12, and all Spec 2 row there. Yusuf Kinzers, Brad Cathcart Company on row 13. Row 14, Caleb Pocock and Josh Justice. While row 15, the top 30 is Stephen Healy and Chris Forbes. Row 16, Charlie Piccaro and Paolo Brain. 17, Alan McCain and Jeff Jacobson. 18, is Sean Vincent and Paul Jackson. 19, Tom Laurie and Gary Walbot. Row 20 and your top 40 are David Payne and Alex Vanlingham. Row 21, Bob Kern and Michelle Voglini. 22, not setting times in qualifying are David Gaspers and Michael McCullough, followed by Tim Hendrickson and Christian Kabanka on row 23. Wow, there's some big old names at the back there, isn't there? Look at those last 2 rows if they choose to join us. They haven't headed to the grid yet. And, well, there you go. They're not going to take the grid. So not taking the grid, Bob Kern, Tim Hendrickson, Christian Kabanka as the Porsche 911 safety car about to pull away. That could, well, if they do choose to join us and start from the pit lane, that might be wise. But here we go. For 40 minutes of wildness.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see the Hendrickson come through the field, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it. But Gaspers will absolutely try and do the same thing. He'll try the last to first challenge, or very nearly last.
There we go, as we are green already and we are racing and we're already free wide on a really, really tight circuit, and there's a big incident already happening. Oh, and back across the track they come. Oh, there's the big one. There's the big one. I can't even count. That's that many cars on board. That is Josh Justice picking his way through.
Wow, well done, Josh. That was he didn't have much of an option, but that line stayed open for him as cars were still collecting each other all around.
Well, you said about Gaspers coming from the back, Charles, at 21 spots already. into 22nd. Some drivers really making hay there. Dan Wood up 10, Stephen Healy up 14, Josh Justice, we said he's up 10, Alan McCain up 14, Vaccaro up 10, 21 places gained for Gaspers, 9 for Jacobson, 10 for Michelle Baglini. Caught up in that incident, Antonio Race, Hugh Simpkins, Kurt Nunes, Montgomery, Payne, Banglian, West and Darlow. Oh, deep breath.
Wow.
1 minute done.
Breath.
Lap 2. Here we
Yeah.
go. Ding ding.
Yeah, here you go, lap 2. I think most of that should be taken care of by now. But obviously, Antonio Race, Chris Montgomery, involved in that is some championship implications there. And now Trenton Kramer, Nunez, Payne, looks like they're all pitting. Yeah, Kramer came in and took his fast repair. Nunez and Payne are in the pits.
There's Kurt Nunes down on pit road. Right, he's taking a bit of a splash of fuel on. Now, this is pit strategy. This is where it's going to get interesting because you've got such a short lap. They've just done an opening lap of 1 minute 7, Charles. So, there is a big old window in terms of your pit strategy. This isn't like Nordschleife where you've got a 4-lap race and 2 laps in which you take your pit on. Here, it's going to be an absolute abundance. Fuel save, or do you go hell for leather on this one?
Yeah, I mean that's it. As what option do you want to do? Do you want to pit early, go to the back, run some laps by yourself, or do you want to just stay out there as long as you possibly can, save as much fuel as you can, and make that pit stop as short as possible? It's going to be, we kind of know some drivers what their tendencies are, as we're looking here with Dantas and then Green and Monty behind, talking about 2 different strategies. Green will save fuel. Monty says, I'm just out here to run as hard as I can go for 40 minutes. So I'm sure Monty will look to see if he can make a move around Green as quickly as he can. As we've got Castro out front, Pleva in second, Dantas in third.
There's the Monty in 5th. Josh has got a replay of how it all unfolded. Lap 1, down to turn 1. Here we go. So as we look down from the Apex Racing TV helicopter, right, so that's Kurt Nunes, middle of shot. Right, who was that turned in front of him? And then they just got to the grass. And then couldn't stop on it. Blunted Antonio Race was one of them. Bobby West pointing in the wrong direction there. And normally I try and count up how many are involved, but
there were a lot. Yeah.
I haven't got caffeine for that one.
I guess the good thing is if you have that damage, as long as you don't get the wheel damage, suspension damage, and it's basically pop the bonnet off, to use the British term there, and you're running your modified. You're probably not going to lose just a ton of time, because I mean there's really one straightaway here that you have to worry about, that you're going to get a decent tow. The rest of it's a pretty tight circuit, so it may be that you can run with that damage for a while and not really lose a lot of time.
On board with Chris Murakami in his home race of the season, but technically that's Japanese origins. Desire Chris, that's his Land of the Rising Sun inspired livery, harking back to his homeland roots. And he's stuck, well, I say stuck, he's currently sitting in 9th. He's up 5 spots. He's got Jesus Rodriguez in front of him, and just sitting and maintaining this pack that starts at Andrea Fabini's in 6th, but they've got a bit of a gap of nearly 2 seconds up to Jorg Marnie in 5th, who's part of that lead pack of 5 that are getting away. This is where it's tricky, isn't it? Because it is so hard to overtake about it. It's almost like an oval race, this. I say that. There goes Overstreet up the inside of Favini. Getting a move down into the final corner. Lovely stuff from Megan there. Up 3 spots now for her. Although, look at this. Could lose it. Straight away, Favini says, no. Don't have it that easy, Megan. The 6th one up the inside of her, straight away.
Yep, she's still there though. She didn't give it up yet, so she's still trying to hang on. Looks like it's still too tight.
Well, you say that then, to boot, Jesus Rodriguez says, I want to get part of this fun. I want to be part of the party as Overstreet finally, 3 corners later, gets the move done over Fabini. And then, well, Rodriguez just couldn't quite follow through with Overstreet there to complete things off. But you feel that Fabini, a little bit the perennial cork in the bottle right now. It's a Swedish driver.
Yeah, I think that you're probably right there. So we'll see if Overstreet can get out and lead this group and maybe cost them that time. Obviously, the side-by-side fighting extended that gap out in front as they were kind of slow through a couple of the corners, trying to make sure that they kept the cars off of each other, no contact, and kept everything clean. So it's now it's okay. Can we make up some of this time? Of course, you know you've got some pretty fast racers up at the top 5, so that'll be a bit of work.
Still nose to tail that group, aren't they? Absolutely nose to tail. Stretches all the way back to Claudio Gardini, who's having the season of his life so far. Second in the Spec 1 Championship. As here is Dantas, who's part of that lead group. Gonna see here, so just gonna run it a bit wide. But it's so tricky, this bit of an off track there, nothing too much to worry about, but just trying to really open up the corner here to try and gain a bit of time. It's tactically using them, isn't it, those off tracks?
Yeah, you've got some to use before you are in danger of penalty, which is a drive-through penalty. So yeah, I think you have to be strategic about those. You can actually make up, as long as you don't get to slow down, you can actually make up a tenth here and there to make a move or to maintain your position.
So Caleb Pope, as producer Josh just spotted us, dropped a few places down the order. Here's how it happened.
Yeah, just looped the rear there, going into the corner. There is some banking there's a little bit of camber in that corner, but just, I guess, carrying too much speed and just kind of lost the rear.
So he's still up 5 spots though, 22nd place for the young American in the Spec 2 Championship. Also currently sitting, oh hold on, we've got a couple of newer drivers, so I need to what this one on the fly. No, he's currently 5th in the race for that one. Stephen Healy leads Spec 2 in 12, up 17 spots. Arnis Jusovic second in class, he's 14th overall right now, up 7. And third, that's Josh Justice, no less. He's up 12 into 16th place right now. Some big gainers out there. Equally, some big losers as well.
Yeah, Gasper's only up 30 since the start of the race in 8.5 minutes.
Rookie numbers, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right, what's happened to Michelle Vaglini here?
Dive to the inside. Yeah, it's lost the same corner. I don't know. It's kind of weird. That might be a trickier corner than it appears to be. That's 2 cars we've seen just kind of lose the rear there.
It is as well. That's the on board with our Spec 2 leader, Stephen Healy, up 6 places in class, 17 overall. The Canadian, well, if you can pull this one off, hats off to you, my friend, and be in full commitment, full concentration mode with the Canadian. Quarter race distance just coming up, and that's downward just in front of us, although just pushing in a bit too deep. Although maybe, I think we're going to see a few different lines through that final corner, aren't we, Charles? People who maybe don't like to push it in too deep, just trying to square off the corner, really open it up on corner exit, get the power down. People go for a more sweeping arc, as I thought that was going to be 3 or 4 wide there, but no, someone jumping into the pit, so I didn't quite catch who that was. There we go. Chris Ford.
Yep.
Well spotted. There's nothing wrong with your eyesight, is there?
Well, my contacts are in, so I'm good to go.
There we go. He's onto pit road early on for the Brit. Might be wise, might not be. We don't know quite. As the field, well, they currently cover 3/4 of the track, so there's not a lot of free air out there. That's the only trouble with stopping early.
No, that's true. Yeah, he may be in danger of actually going a lap down at this point with a 102, lap by the leaders. Yeah, he's probably already a lap down. Just to be fair, where we at with Ford? 56 seconds. So the leaders are about 5 or 6 seconds behind him. So yeah, he needs to get on it in a hurry and get the car back up to speed and see what kind of laps he can make. Because obviously, once you get behind those guys, it's tough to you basically waiting until they pit in order to unlap yourself. So you know, maybe get behind the leaders, get a good tow, maybe helps your lap times, but it seems like that's more of a hindrance than anything else.
Also, Claudio Gardini getting a move on Justice, and the seeing Tom Gradwell there nearly trying to make a move on Caleb Pocock. Gradwell down a 5, one of the drivers caught out from the symphony of chaos that was turn 1 on the opening lap here from Tsukuba. I don't know, with Charlie Vaccaro now, he's up 7 now. One of the drivers who did 5 spots in class as well, so it really truly is. This midfield, you either lost big, you gained big, and well, it's only Todd Martin and Claudio Gardini who are down 1 place, and that's about as close as you can get to being neutral of not really having much happen to you.
For sure.
There goes Philip Berry, talk about Tom Gradwell's very countryman on the anchors into the pit lane.
I think he'll be getting his gas repair here. Yep, absolutely. Pops the front back out. So fresh car and take his fuel. Yeah, it seems like the early pit stop may help, but I don't know. It just feels like that you get kind of bogged down with as being lap traffic. I think most people, when they see the blue flag, even though it is in iRacing, it's not a traditional F1 blue flag. It is an informational flag that says, hey, you've got faster guys behind you. Most people want to just kind of allow them to make a pass and get them in front, get them out of the way. So it just seems like that may be a hindrance to the early pit stops, unless you're already pretty high up in the order, where you can come out, amongst the mid to low mid pack, I guess we call it that.
Over the last Plaver now, let's do the Castro race leader, and these two breaking away from Evandro Dantas. 1.4 seconds the gap behind us, no less. Weighing at 1.5, and well, there you go. You talked about that traffic, didn't you, Charles? And that is Chris Thorpe just about to come up behind, and he's got Antonio Race and Bobby West, two drivers you would not be expected to be seeing down in 37th and 38th for a place for those two. Which could prove to be a little bit tricky for them to get past them. They are being, well, I mean, I say held up. Well, I say Bob West just getting past Payne there, but yeah, I mean that's going to prove tricky and a little bit harder to pass compared to what Payne will be. But they've already cleared him and they look to head off into the distances. Yeah, there is Sean Vincent, Chris Thorpe right behind us, and then comes through our leaders of Castro and Plaver. So I think even that this race is more like multi-class endurance, isn't it? In the form of, you've got people behind you, but you're going to get held up by the traffic, and it's about your net time, isn't it? How much time that you lose on average per lap against the people that you're around. If you're better in traffic, you've got that multi-class endurance experience like a few of these drivers have. I think these are the ones who could shine here in this, some 26 minutes we've got remaining of racing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's exactly right. Yeah, you were talking about West and Murakami not Murakami. Race being on the back, and those are guys that were up front, that are normally running up front, always have good pace, and so now because of the lap 1 incident, they're kind of on the back foot, and so now you've got leaders, and yeah, it's difficult to pass those guys because the pace is so close. Between them, as we see Rodriguez getting to the inside of Overstreet there. This is the second race in a row we've kind of seen those two drivers fighting for position pretty much the entire race.
On board with Andrea Favini, who I refer to almost like the cork in the bottle earlier on, although maybe one of those drivers, certainly like me, who's better at following than he is at setting the pace, remains close-lipped to Overstreet and Favini and Rodriguez. But Favini now really piling on the pressure even. And Overstreet, surely can't be feeling too comfortable because she wants to try and make a move on Rodriguez, but needs to keep one eye on the mirror of what speed in the form of Andrea Favini is doing behind, because he's having a good lunge here, isn't he? He's asking questions.
Absolutely, yeah. It's yeah, he's definitely kind of looking around to see if there's room to make a move potentially, because obviously, as we see, we've got Jason Perry back there hot on his heels, Chris Murakami as well. So you've got a pack of 5 essentially here, and so everybody's kind of looking to see what we can do and see what can be done. Obviously, Overstreet was in the lead of that group. Rodriguez made a good move to get by, and so now you got the draft is starting to play a little bit of a factor in this, because those back cars can get maybe a 10th or 2 down the straightaway here as we're coming down the front straight, or back straight, I should say. So yeah, it's definitely one of those that you've got to be pretty perfect in order to maintain your spot. I think Barry coming back in.
Yes, it was Phil Berry. I've just been looking at the timing sheets. The driver that's behind this group, he is 4.5 seconds down the road, but that time has come down by a couple of attempts and is continuing to do so. Every few laps, 4 attempts in fact on that last lap, is one David Gaspers. As there's Dan Wood into pit road from 23rd position. And yeah, head straight out. Some short stops so far. Well, certainly for Wood, they're 8 seconds. I mean, are we going to see that short of stop? That feels very, very short for here.
It does, but I was sitting there thinking about that earlier. This probably doesn't. This is probably not a track where you're on full throttle for a lot of the lap, right? So because you've got so many little twists and turns during the race. Oh no,
that's Favini and
Overstreet.
So he was battling with Overstreet, yeah.
Yep.
So we looked down from the chopper. And he'd been asking a lot of questions. Just in a bit too deep.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was thinking he was going to stay on the outside line and go a little deeper into the corner, and maybe Overstreet maybe moved out a little bit. But yeah, it was just tight battle, tight racing into that corner. We've already seen cars there looping on their own. Yes, I think Overstreet maybe was thinking, I'm going to have to take this a little bit wider, and 2 doesn't go into 1.
She's into pit road, so is Arnis Jusovic as well. He heads up, pretty much synchronised exit from those 2 from their pit boxes. Overstreet, where's she going to come out? So she come out top of everyone who has stopped so far. That's Trenton Kramer behind in that 444 machine. But 444 versus the 44. Though less. Yep. And then they've got Montgomery in there as well, and Dan Wood now at the back of this pack. Ah dear, Overstreet can't seem to catch a break, can she? Under a lot of pressure, and then the contact from Favini, and now Trenton Kramer trying to inflict more misery onto her.
Yeah, absolutely. She's out of the frying pan into the fire, as they say. But Kramer's going to have to stop again. He came into the pits, but just to take his fast repair after the lap 1 incident. So, even if she decided just to let him go, obviously there's other cars that she'd have to battle. But so maybe us trying to stay out front might be the best thing for her. We get another replay here. This is Cathcart.
Race is ahead of us. Oh wow. Just spooked by the car on the outside. I didn't quite catch. Was that Bobby West, I think?
I think it was Bobby West. I think you're absolutely right. Yep. Yeah, just like race was just, he was just trying to break from the corner, and it's just like, I don't know. It's I think one was thinking they were going to go the inside of race, the other thinking they were going to go the outside of race, and then I think both of them actually ended up hitting race. So, obviously very tight corner there. We see West in the pits. So I think we'll see a lot more of that before this race is over with.
That's Cathcart headed on pit road. That's one driver who's been in the wars today. That is for certain. That's his 2nd stop of the day for the Aussie. But it comes out. It's West just behind him. Just everyone just on top of one another right now. Amazingly, though, so the lead group, where are they? So they are lapped everyone up and two, and including 30th place David Payne. And to be fair, they're not far off Kurt Nunes as well, who's, luckily for them, he's in a little bit of a bubble by himself, though. So they've got a bit of time before they catch up onto him. 4.6 seconds now, the gap back to Dantas, who's in third. As these two, it's just been they've been a class of their own, haven't they? It's been so quietly just picking people off, as Jason Green just trying to pick some people off there as well. Yogmani couldn't quite follow Green through. And to dispatch of Chris Forbes. Jason Perry heading in very, very early on. Although, I'm about to say that, we're 21 minutes in, but he did get caught up in that incident with Favini and Overstreet.
Yep, definitely. So you saw the damage getting repaired there as Cathcart's in or on his way out. Yeah, Gasper's up to P8 now, 16 seconds off the lead. So he's only up, I don't know, was it 35 positions at this point as we see Brim in. So yeah, it's just there's a nice gap after Monty back to Rodriguez, so 6 seconds or something like that. So it's basically the top two and then a pack of three, Dantas, Green, and Monty, and then Rodriguez, then Murakami, Gaspers, and then Spec 2 leader Healy in P9, having a very, very good race.
Looking down there is Rodriguez. There's Healy, who's mentioned about as well, at 20 spots now. So he is actually only third highest climber so far, because Jeff Jacobson's at 21. It's David Gaspers of the incredible 35, although those aren't yet to be adjusted. I think there's going to be a few. Well, I say that. Actually, Gaspers will definitely sort of retain that sort of position, because Overstreet's the top driver who has pitted so far, but he passed her when she was caught up in that incident. So she's into 18th. So realistically, that's going to be the lowest that Gaspers would come out, will be 17th. As we see Pocock and Vaccaro stuck in a bit of a battle here. Wow, that was close.
It was, yeah. Yeah, I think that's that same corner that, that everybody may be struggling with just a little bit. But yeah, it's weird. Maybe it was this one, maybe it was a different corner. But yeah, it's just seems like there's a couple of cars out there that may be struggling just a bit, as we see Bradshaw running in his modified in P11.
I've never spotted that, but you're absolutely smack on. It does look like a modified, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it looks it's eerily similar to the NASCAR modified race cars with no front end. Yeah, but I mean, he's still out there, and he's he's up 7 positions, so he's doing a really good job, and he's just maintaining his pace as best he can. So I think that was a good strategy, just kind of stay out and ride out the damage until you could come into your pit stop. I mean, obviously the window's open at this point. And I was, we're talking about the fuel mileage earlier. I was thinking that it's really, like I said, it's not really what I would think is where you're on 100% throttle a lot of the lap. So maybe the fuel stops are going to be fairly short in comparison to what we normally see, just because of that.
Well, I'm going to have to trust your opinion right now, because my internet just had a massive blink and I've been logged out of the session.
Okay.
Due to, packet loss, happens to the races. Just shows it happens in the commentary booth as
Absolutely.
well once in a while. So I'll leave it to you for this few minutes while I load back in the session awkwardly.
No worries. Yeah, so we're following Tutu Castro leading the race. Obviously, Plever right behind, 0.3 of a second. Still very, very close up front. As we go further back, Dantas, Green, Monty, basically within 2 seconds of each other. So we get a good look at Dantas there as they're coming down the straight. Green is in his normal, what we would see Green do quite a bit, is riding behind somebody. I'm sure trying to maximize his fuel usage in preparation for the pit stop. We've got Monty just a little further back, along with Rodriguez, Murakami, Gaspers, Healy, and Gardini, your top 10. I'm thinking with Gaspers coming back and doing this so often that we may have to rename our most
Yeah, Andres Petoni Award,
yeah,
the David Gaspers Award.
Yeah, I think so. The hard charger, most positions gained during the race. We have to give it to Gaspers, obviously, who is a former champion here. So I'm sure we could name a lot of things after him.
5-time champion, no less. As he, well, you can tell I'm back in the session now, can't you?
I can tell you're back in the session. Yep.
Yes, as he danced it on the curb there, and wow, that's how you dispatch a Chris Murakami, who's no slouch whatsoever, who's had many a Masters Championship to his name. Right, next up, let's get after Jesus Rodriguez, 3.6 seconds up the road.
Yeah, as we see them lapping a car there. It's just going to be one of those. Yeah, it's going to be one of those that now he's got that gap. So let's see what his real pace is. We'll get a good look at how quickly he can close that 3.5 second gap up to Rodriguez up in P6.
Well, he had been setting good lap times at Gaspers. I mean, he's pretty much on pace with our lead pair of Castro and Plavin. So I wouldn't put it past him to, be right up there.
Oh no! Oh, I feel like the commentator curse has returned as we see Adam Bradshaw in the wall.
Taking a good long hard look at the wall and maybe even himself after that one, because he was running a bit of fresh air. Did he run it into and then locked it up?
Yeah, I think he felt the rear coming around. He tried to correct it and just locked it up and slid straight off into the barrier.
Such an unfortunate one. I mean, here we go. We'll get to see it. Look down at his inputs. All good.
Oh no, hardware failure.
Yeah,
absolutely. The dead left-hand turn is the key to that one. It's absolutely hardware failure. Which is why he was sitting there for so long. He was trying to get everything reset.
Well, yes. Yeah. He's back up and running now. He's lost a few places because of it, but still 23rd as I catch you that was heading into pit road. I think was it even potentially Brad Cathcart, maybe, or no, Gary Walpole it was. I spotted the 9-0. I wasn't sure whether it was 5 or 2. It's Gary Walpole. He heads down pit road there. But we're already at 28 minutes. Well, 28 and a half, nearest damn it. And to get to stop our top 15 and Tom Laurie, who's 18th, and Bradshaw, you can see on the screens right now, he's had a real eventful one. And Michael McConnell, who's ironically actually behind him, 1.1 seconds down the road behind Bradshaw. So that Claudio Gardini visits pit road. So, yeah, I mean, we've combined that lack of, on throttle that you need at this circuit, combined with such a short lap-wise, there's a big old pit window here, isn't there?
There really is. It wouldn't surprise me if we get somebody pitting in the 34th minute coming in. Normally it's about 31, but just based on what we're talking about with these short laps and not a lot of full throttle sections of the track, might extend that a couple 3 minutes out there. So it'd be interesting to find out. At this point, it's about time for everybody to start thinking about it for sure, right? Because we're at the 30-minute mark. So I'm sure everybody is looking at their fuel gauge, saying, okay, how many more can I do before I have to come in?
Let's have a little look at temperatures here today. Cool one, 24 Celsius. Well, that's going to be around about, there you go, 70 odd Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 75 track temp.
So anything really is possible here, isn't it, here today?
For sure. Yeah, I have been on Tsukuba when it's been 50-degree track temp. So this is much more preferable to everyone, I'm sure.
Yes, it is, and well, he's going to walk away with this one here today. to all sort of settle down a bit and just really think about what we're about to experience and how we're going to play this one out.
Tell you what, Josh Justice is now up to P10, and he's a second and a half behind Healy. He's had a fantastic run. Obviously, he was able to snake his way through that lap 1 calamity unscathed, and so now he's making a bid to get that class win.
Yeah, look, you can see from the camera angle that he's in touching distance almost, isn't he? Just it's that mental thing. If you can get it under a second, that okay, you know, this is not a draft dependent track like, you know, many of the circuit we've been to, you know, Monza over the time, we've been to Daytona, Charlotte, Phillip Island, to name but a few. But it still does make that bit of a difference, you know. Not see how hard he's pushing. So here's him getting through it all. Of what happened earlier on, and well, I'll trust your view on this, Charles, because obviously I've lost all that info.
Yeah, and unfortunately the replay system's not really working, but looks like he's coming into the pits. Monty's in, Gaspers is in for sure.
Yes, he is.
Yep,
well spotted.
And here comes Justice, and got one of the early pit boxes.
So it's a tricky one, though, isn't it? You know, you've got to be so aware to, you know, get turned in time. And wow, it really is the splash and dash for Justice. 8.9 seconds. A long stop for Marnie at 11.1, though.
Yeah, long stop for Marnie at 11.1. Longer stop for Gaspers at 23.7.
Ah.
So that's obviously significant.
Castro and Flavor are in now.
Yep.
Well, we're not far off, so we're making it to the 34th minute like you predicted. We really aren't far off it at all.
No, we're not.
Keep your eyes peeled for one Jason Green on that factor. If anyone can make it to late 35, he's the guy that can do it.
Yeah, it would be him for sure.
Right, 9.1 for Castro. Flavor, much longer stop, 11 seconds. 2 seconds difference, and that as well. Surely going to hand it to Castro, but that's going to throw, because that's about the sort of time that Dantas and Green were roughly about behind Flavor and Castro. So is that thrown Flavor into, well, at least a second, maybe even a win here today, down into having to really get his elbows out and fight it out for third place potentially? Yeah,
it's going to be very, very very difficult, possibly, as we see Dantas and I believe Green's also coming in. So 33 minutes and 40 seconds. And we have anybody else staying out. Rodriguez is still coming around the track.
Yes,
he's in. And so we got Healy and Jacobson.
And Michelle Vaglini yet to stop, and Michael McConnell as well.
Yeah.
Vaglini is one lap down, so we need to consider that factor into it.
Right.
So, wow, that was a quick stop from Jason Green. Look at that, 7.7 seconds. That's got to be one of the shortest ever in Weekend Warriors history. I'll tell you, Kurt Nunes, 7.3 though.
That's cutting it close.
Well, there is Jacobson and Healy. So that just leaves Michael McConnell.
Well, easy there. All right.
Wow. And Healy desperate to get out. And, wow, now hold on. Look, Josh Justice is ahead of us.
Yeah.
There he is. And it's hammer time for Healy as he needs to get past Jacobson. He needs to get past Yurcevic as well, who's, well, Healy's not just lost the lead, he's dropped to third in class.
Wow, that's a big turn of events there. Healy's stop was 10.4, 28-second cone to cone. Doesn't look like anything, but Justice's was an 8.9 and a 25-second cone to cone. And so that's made the difference there.
Trent Kramer with a drive-through penalty, and I do wonder how many others we're going to see that happen to who were involved. Vanglingham's coming into the pit, so he got a penalty last time because he stopped stationary for 45 seconds. So that says to me speeding on pit entry. See, actually, yeah, that's actually another stop for him.
That was actually not a drive-through for Kramer. That was his pit stop. He did not take fuel after coming in on lap 1. He just took his fast repair, so that is his fuel stop.
But even that yeah, because it's too short to be just fuel. But it's a very long time either way. Maybe actually trying to repair some further damage to the car. You see the pit stop times up there. So McConnell has got to 36 minutes, Charles.
Wow, that's impressive. that's getting every drop out of it before you come into the box. So yeah, that's a very, very late pit stop. I think McConnell was also one of those that was involved early. So, and you see him behind. Look at Jordan Monty that's in front of him.
Yes. So
yeah. So now Castro's out by 5 seconds in the lead. Pleva, Dantas, and Green are about 2 seconds apart on track from 2nd to 4th. Green obviously made quite a bit of time up. Dantas as well on Pleva with his longer pit stop. So now can they make anything out of it before the end of this race? And I think we got probably going to be ready to go up the line or something like that.
We've got 3 minutes in which to try and fathom this one out, haven't we? So 1.1 seconds the gap from Pleva to Dantas, who then has Green 0.8 seconds behind Dantas, and they're just going to encroach on more and more traffic as this race goes on.
Yeah, and that might play an issue in it as well. Is getting through this lap traffic, being able to navigate it.
Paul Jackson and Sean Vincent. Excuse me, next one's up. Paolo Bramacci. Oh, that group 2. And even then, we've got Kurt Nunes and Tom Laurie not too far in front. So, yeah, it's a real upward battle now that could really decide this of who catches who where, and how quickly and easily and compliant said drivers are, allowing them pass.
Yeah,
on board with Dantas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just looking. Jurcevic and Healy are basically Healy is 1.5 seconds behind Josh Justice now. So that battle, 12th through 14th is the Spec 2 podium with just a couple of laps left to go.
So that is Dantas. There is Green. 3 tenths behind. Yorgmani's lost a chunk of time there in trying to pass this traffic as well. It's a little bit further down. So, he is. So Trenton Kramer just behind him. Let's Pleva though, just eking out a little bit more of a gap over Dantas and Green. So that's good news for the Cheshire driver. There is Pleva. Wow. We've got a minute left, so we're not on white flag lap. We're on penultimate lap. Wow, so some of these drivers are about to start the penultimate lap. There's Paolo Brame having a good look there.
I wonder if that's going to play into this as well, because now we're going over the 40 minutes. I think that feels like it's an extra lap that maybe some people. No, as we get a spin there.
The Italian is going to come right up in front of Dantas and Green. Are going to use that overspeed to clear him and spatcher him as quickly as possible. The Italian just trying to hunt that inside line. Green's going to be compromised on corner exit. That could aid and abet Dantas here. But
yeah, definitely.
They've taken a couple of attempts out of Pleva as well, who's losing heaps and heaps and heaps of time ahead of us.
Yeah, this is just craziness at this point. So yeah, I'm just kind of wondering if maybe somebody may have not taken enough fuel because we've got an extra lap of race. Well, I take that back. We're at the checkered now.
Well, yeah, that's completely and utterly confused me a bit. So, but then Castro's not. There you go. There's Castro across the line. So he takes the checkered flag. So it was white flag lap. No, I didn't think it was. And well, he did enough. Less Pleva to hold on to second, 6/10 at the line to Dantas.
Wow.
One more lap, that's all they wanted, and it's all, well,
Yeah.
certainly all we wanted. As here
Yep.
comes Josh Justice. Right, now this is crucial because you've got the top three in Spec 2, nose to tail, one corner left. Hold on to this, Josh Justice, and you take the victory. It looks like he's going to, if he can just get this exit right.
Whoa!
Nearly didn't. Nearly didn't.
Yeah, made it a little interesting there at the end with the wide exit, but I was able to hold on by a half second, and then to Jurcevic, and then Healy was another 2/10 back.
Incredible place between those guys. Tom Gradwell picks up the last place in Masters. That's a solid result for him. He'll be happy with that. What a great way to start off your Monday there, my friend. Of course, being from Australia, it's Monday morning for Tom Gradwell.
Yeah, that's a nice way to start the week off with a nice podium.
It's the second round in a row that we've had an Australian in third place, and ironically, our top two in Masters are exactly the same as they were last time out. So that's Willow Springs, Marnie with the win, Murakami second, and Castro makes it 2 wins on the bounce. The first driver to win more than one round this season.
Yeah, he's had a couple of really good weeks.
I think many more argue if Flavor haven't had that extended pit stop, I think that definitely did make it a little bit easier for him. He's standing by. We'll have a chat to him shortly. Let's run through your confirmed results here today. Round 7, apologies, of the SRF Weekend Warriors presented by Ray Esports on Apex Racing TV. Due to Castro with the win. Let's play the second, and Dantas making it 2 Brazilians on the podium overall. Jason Green, not quite enough in the end, good enough for 4th. Yogmani, winner in Masters, 5th. Rodrigo, 6th. Murakami, 2nd in Masters, 7th overall. With Overstreet, Favini and Gardini to round out that top 10. Gaspers up in the end, up an incredible 32 spots into 11th. Then it was our top 3 in Spec 2, Justice, Jurcevic and Healy. Jakeson 15th, then Wood, McCain, Gradwell to round out that Masters podium in 18th position. 19th, that was Caleb Pollock and Charlie Vaccaro. They've got Hugh Simpkins, Chris Thorpe, and Darlow. So his system was having a little bit of a glitch there. Darlow 23rd, he was the first. The drivers 1 lap down. Kurt Nunes, Vincent, Jackson, Bradshaw, Montgomery in 28th. 29th, that was Paolo Brain, McConnell 30th, Cathcart, Payne, Martin in 33rd, Laurie, and Michelle Verglini, last driver 1 lap down. 2 laps down with Gary Walbot, Bobby West. So was Alex Banlingham in 38th. 39th, 3 laps down was Trenton Kramer. Into retirements now. 40th, that was Jason Perry, lost him on lap 21. Lap 17 for Antonio Race, Philip Berry, lap 14, and Michael Nelson, lap 2 with Kabanka, Hendrickson and Kern not making the start. Let's have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers, as always, as mentioned. Our race winner, he was there in the interview waiting area first, Tudo Castro. Congratulations. I mean, just talk about how tough that was out there. I mean, it's such a small track, and 43 cars in the end started this race.
Yeah, it's absolutely really tough. I was trying to be fast and saving fuel as a leader. What is really difficult in this track. So trying to shift a bit earlier, trying to do some coasting, and don't let Alice pass me too. What could be a really dangerous thing. So. I think this is the result of 600 laps that I did this weekend. So yeah, I put a lot of effort in this track. I found a good set for it, and I knew I had a good balanced car with low fuel consumption and a fast time too. So I'm really happy with the ending.
Most certainly. I mean, unless had 2 seconds longer in terms of his stationary pit stop compared to yourself at 9 seconds. I mean, when you came out of the pit, saw that you had such a big gap of I think it was about 5 seconds at that stage. You must have felt a great weight lifted from your shoulders, surely.
Yeah. What happened is on the moto section on the chicane, most of the field was doing on second gear, and I was doing on third gear. So for that, I was saving 0.2 or 0.1 each lap. So we were spending 0.41. So it was pretty much like 5% of saving doing like that. So, and I was hearing his shifting gear doing on second gear the whole time. Even he was saving fuel on my slipstream. I knew I could do some difficult for him after the pit. So that's what I worked for the whole week to get this. So, and I think I got the end what I wanted for.
Oh, most certainly. Just shows all that practice. It was definitely worthwhile. Congratulations, first driver to make it 2 victories this season in Spec 1. Congratulations, Dudu Castro, your race winner. Right, next up, Charles, who have you managed to grab for a bit of a chat?
Well, let's grab our Spec 2 winner, Josh Justice, and we'll give him a talk. Josh, congratulations on the Spec 2 win. So you, I think, were the only driver who found the only line through that lap 1 incident and managed to get through it cleanly.
Yeah, I did. Basically, I figured there was probably gonna be a crash, so I braked early, kind of slowed it down a little bit, and I just kind of put my car in the middle so I could go either way. And what wound up happening was the lane cleared up to the left, and everybody on the left had kind of gotten put further out. Because the track is essentially 4 cars wide, but you don't really try to take it 3 wide unless you're crazy, which clearly that's what happened lap 1. But essentially, like, if you go like lanes 1, 2, and 4 were occupied, and I just shot it through lane 3, and that was all it took, really. I was a little worried the guy on the outside, I don't remember who it was, it was one of the red cars. I was a little worried he was gonna get in the grab on the exit and, hook the clog and take me out. But he held on, I don't think he ever spun at all. I think he just kind of went straight over the grab and over the curb and managed to keep it together. And from there on, it was a pretty good race. I mean, Kurt was in front of me with some damage for a long time. I'm not sure what wound up happening to him later in the race, because I know he pit like lap 20 something. And I know I passed a bunch of people in the pit. I don't really know. I mean, I wound up ahead of David Gamble coming out of the pit. I'm not entirely sure how that happened.
Yeah, so that was the next thing was you were running, I believe, in second or third in class until the pit cycle happened, and then you just had a much shorter pit stop than Healy did, and you were able to kind of jump him through the pit cycle and take the lead of the class and manage to hang on for the rest of the race.
Yeah, so the pit stop was, in my head, the race was gonna be 39 like 4 into the race. It turned out only being 38, but like I had that planned in terms of the fuel, and I knew I was gonna be good to go for about 32 laps on fuel. So ultimately, I needed 7 more laps of gas. And once we got to around lap 25, I started trying to figure out, okay, when am I gonna pit? The car, when there were cars in front of me that were about the same speed, I wanted to stay in the ramp. Because even though it's a very technical track and the ramp doesn't matter that much, it is worth, a few tenths down the back straight and up the hill on the front straight. So I wanted to stay in the ramp. We got by some lap cars, and then I think I was looking at the relative, and there was nobody in front of me. Yep was right behind me, right on my tail, and I had 2 lap cars coming up in front of me, and I just sent it into the pit stall. And I knew I had an early pit, so once I started kind of playing for pits, I was like using the right button and finding where my pit stall was so that I would be ready, and I knew it was all the way in the back. So I basically just absolutely sang it on pit entry. I practiced the pit entry a lot because there's a lot of time you can make up on pit entry on this track. Like if you sit there and go in second gear or cruising at like 65 miles an hour around the pit entry, versus if you're just absolutely singing at 75 miles an hour, that's like a second on the way into the pit. But you have to be careful not to get the speeding penalty on the entry. And so I'm up and down the pit entry like a dozen times in practice today.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Josh, on the class win, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Josh, justice there, but that is all we have got time for. Running massively over time here, but I think well worth it indeed. Thank you very much for joining us, and well, another cracker here from Tsukuba in the Weekend Warriors, but didn't we expect anything less? We'll be back in a week's time. We head to your fair land, don't we, Charles Bashal? To Balliol, one you were looking forward to, that's for certain.
Oh, it's it's gonna have a little bit of everything, and probably hopefully not a lot of big wrecks like we saw today, but the potential is definitely there.
Well, it may certainly is, and will be there as well. From myself, Tim Cox, Charles Bashal, and Josh Wilkie, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a week's time when the Weekend Warriors returns. Good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.